It's the Obsessed Compulsive Gamer, the O.C.G, and I'm starting a hard mode playthrough of Silent Hill 2 Remake. Let me make sure I'm live. Yeah, I'm thinking about switching Dodge to the R1. Just gonna wait till my friend gets here. He said he'll be here in a minute. Hey man. Hard. The thing I'm worried about is the heart of the puzzles. Now, hold on. Okay, right now, it is 7:53. Yeah. Right now, it is 7:53. Let's put my quitting time at 8:08. Which is just like 15 minutes from now. Like I said, it helps me feel better when somebody sees me hit the button. So I'm not sitting there doubting myself. I know somebody else saw me. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. I tell you what, this cutscene is crazy to me for the littlest thing. When he goes to touch his hand, you can actually see the skin on his hands move. And I've never seen a game have that detail before. I know it sounds silly, but it's fucking crazy. Like right here, you can actually see the skin on his palm move.
Could you really be in this town?
I love the music in this game so much. The whole series, honestly. There's a reason why the composer of these games is renowned.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday.
Yeah.
But you never did. Well, I'm alone there now. In our special place. Waiting for you.
Silent Hill 3 has the best soundtrack. Because it has the similar guitar riffs and shit that this game does, but it also has vocal tracks. Not all of them, but a lot of the tracks in Silent Hill 3 are vocal, and they're fucking great. I think her name is Allison McGill. She did the soundtrack, and she's fantastic.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said Mary. My wife's name. It's ridiculous. Couldn't possibly be true. That's what I keep telling myself.
I'll have to send you the track.
Mary died of that damn
'Cause it's
disease 3 years ago.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
Why am I looking for her? Our special place. What could she mean? This whole
There's, yeah, overall, I have to say probably. Probably they did have the best stories. They really go in depth into the world and the characters in a way a lot of hard games don't, like getting into their head and really showing their grief and trauma, and they do it in a nuanced way. Like in Silent Hill 2, there's almost not one bad character in the entire game. They're all like mentally fucked up and broken, but they're like fully faceted characters. They're not good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Like they show the good parts of them and the bad. Like this game is all about shades of gray and how some people are good and some people are fucked up. You know what I mean? So like there's not like a villain in this game. You know what I mean? And it would have been really easy to say, "Oh, this guy's the bad guy." But even people that are kind of dickish, like they show, like they have fucking massive trauma. Like I'm sure by now you know that you fight Eddie, and you wind up killing Eddie. But even he is portrayed as not being just a total asshole. He's portrayed as being a mentally broken person who was bullied incredibly hard for years and snapped.
Town was our special place. Could Mary really be here? Is she really alive? Waiting for me?
I really do like the story of Resident Evil. I know some people say they think the story of all Resident Evil games is bad, but I would say overall probably Silent Hill has better stories, even though I like the stories of Resident Evil. I think overall, Resident Evil has better gameplay though, whereas Silent Hill has a better story, if that makes sense. Whereas I still actually do like the gameplay of this. But the gameplay for Resident Evil 4 Remake was just fucking immaculate. So, I would love to have a car like this. Old American Muscle. And see what's funny, dude? Just so you know, if you ever play this, you can get a trophy right away for trying to go down this road and leave, and it says no escape. So it's like, you know, people are like, why don't you just leave at the start of the game? They accounted for that, which I thought was hilarious, because that wasn't in the original. I'm trying to do this 100% on hard. Get all the puzzles, get all the notes, all the map filled out. That's pretty much the only thing left to do because I got all the endings, got the platinum. After that, I can just fully say I've done everything there is to do in this game. They did such a great job with the fucking atmosphere and graphics in this game. Oh yeah. After you beat the game, one thing I really like about this game, Max, is after you beat it, the title screen actually permanently changes. And you get a bunch of new filters. This is the 90s filter. Better. When you start the game, the title screen. When you start the game, the title screen is the bathroom where the game starts, so it's just a bathroom stall. After you beat the game the first time, it shows the hotel where him and Mary stayed. So it's a story-intensive location. I'm just looking at all the filters. Ha! You unlock all these filters when you beat the game. Although I'm probably not going to be playing with many of them. I don't really like filters in a lot of games, honestly. Still fun to fuck with them, though. VHS. Max's favorite. Well, second favorite, you know, Betamax. Old CRT. Also Max's favorite. Although I hate the CRT filters. Yeah. Well, you have to understand that that's kind of to be expected. They both liberally borrow from each other. Resident Evil and Silent Hill have always done that. They literally considered each other rivals. So they would do something in Silent Hill, and then Resident Evil would be like, oh shit, we gotta up the ante. They would do something in Resident Evil and Silent Hill, you know, so they both used a lot from each other, and they acknowledge that. Like Resident Evil 7, went to much more psychological horror that was much closer to Silent Hill. And then they did a DLC for 8 called Shadow of Rose, and it was fucking awesome, but it went 100% psychological horror, and it could have been ripped out of a Silent Hill game. And there's even some similarities in the plot. So, yes, this remake took inspiration from the Resident Evil remakes, but Resident Evil took inspiration from Silent Hill when it relaunched, and it's kind of like a back and forth kind of thing. Yeah, there's no way in fuck I would. Yeah, I'm not gonna play with any of the filters. Especially not the red, that would fucking kill my eyes. They actually give a pretty good reason in universe how he can do that. If you want me to spoil it for you. It sounds ridiculous without the context, but they actually give a valid reason why he can do that. Sounds ridiculous without the context. But I don't know if you want me to spoil it for you. He's not a human. Okay? At the start of Resident Evil 7, he dies. And becomes a molded. Those fucking creatures that are in 7 and 8. Except he's a molded that takes on a human shape. And he kept his memories. He's a good molded. He didn't become a monster. And they can reattach their body parts and heal from damage. He's literally not human. So in that instance, they actually do explain it. If that happened to Chris Redfield, he couldn't do that. Like that, you know, he is an exception, and they go and say that he's special because he can do that.
It's like someone's groping around my skull.
Oh, it looks like they're probably going to announce Resident Evil 9 soon. It got leaked on Metacritic, so it looks like the Capcom made an entry. They might announce it, and they usually do announce the new Resident Evil games around this time. You know, Halloween. October is when they announced 7 for 8 for release in May the next year. So that would be great. I'm really looking forward to hearing about that. And apparently, 9 is going to have open world elements. Yeah. It's not going to be an open world like Ubisoft or anything like that, but they made it sound like it would have bigger areas that you could freely explore. No, I wouldn't say gay. Like I said, it's not going to be like a massive open world like Red Dead Redemption, dude. It's like they're saying it's going to have more open areas to explore. So more like Silent Hill. You know what I mean? Where there's like open town areas to explore or stuff like that, or Evil Within 2 where it was a mini sandbox. It's not going to be like a sandbox game. It's just going to have more open areas to explore. And I'm fine with that. 8 already had a bigger map. Anyway, so and literally Capcom, I have so much faith in Capcom, Max. It's insane. They have, they've never made a truly terrible mainline Resident Evil game. Even 6 was a bad Resident Evil game, but it wasn't a horrible game. It was a good shooter. But 7, 8, 2 Remake, 3 Remake, 4 Remake have all been so fucking great in some of my favorite games that whatever they do, I have complete faith they're going to crush it. Oh, that's my alarm. Okay, hold on. Alright, okay, you gotta get up for right now. Hold on. So, like I said, it's not gonna be like a Ubisoft game. It's just gonna be more open. And have, like, I guess, and be less linear and allow you to do stuff in different orders. Alright, let me put that right up on the camera. 1, 2, 3, go. Boom, timer started. Alright. I also love how there was so much controversy over this chick's model, and they said they made her fat, and she's, like, insanely skinny.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I was just...
Hey, it's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
Yeah, I'm looking for
Like,
something.
who in their right mind could call that fat?
Yeah.
She's literally on the skinny
This
side.
fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But... I think you should stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it. And it's not just the fog, either.
Is it dangerous?
Maybe. It's kind of hard to explain, but...
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you. It's just... I guess I don't really care if it's dangerous or not. I'm going either way.
But why?
I'm looking for... someone. Someone very important to me.
Me too.
And you know, if you prefer the original game's model, okay, that's subjective. But this is literally... saying she's fat is objectively wrong.
I mean, my mother...
In no fucking
It's
world
so
is that
long
fat.
since I've seen her.
I'd say she could stand to gain a few pounds.
I thought my father and brother were here, but I can't find them either. I'm sorry, it's not your problem.
No, I hope you find them.
Yeah, you too.
I also like how they added in a bunch of optional conversations you can have with people.
Did you want anything else?
No, it's just... this fog. Does it seem unsettling to you?
I guess. It's just through the gate and down the path. You'll get there in no time.
You know what? I know you're joking, but that is seriously how some of the fan base is.
Good luck finding the one you're looking for.
Yeah, I should probably get going.
I really do wish they let you go in this church. That's a nitpick, admittedly, but they added a lot of areas you could go into in the original game. They added a lot of areas in the remake you couldn't go into in the original game, and I wish they would have been this church just because it looks so fucking cool. But once again, that's a nitpick. Even the water physics are great, man. Like the water actually fucking bounces and shit when you run into it. Watery grave. I hope they had a photo mode. I was really disappointed that this game doesn't have a photo mode because it should be standard, and a lot of games have it. And this game is so pretty that I really hate that there isn't one. Obviously, people on PC can just hijack the camera and do whatever, but on console you can't. Yeah, but not quite to that level. That's with it getting a little bit technical. The water physics they use in this game is a lot more advanced. It's a fucking what do they call it? Fuck, there's a term for it where they actually a nav mesh water. I hope so. Yeah. I haven't heard what the sales were for this game. I really, really, really hope this game did well sales-wise. I would be fucking heartbroken if it didn't. If for there to be more remakes and more games in the series, this needs to do well financially. Oh, really? That's great. Well, even then, that still actually makes it one of the best-selling Silent Hill games already. Hold on, let me Google it. And I know they put a decent budget into this game, but I don't think this has a huge budget. You know what I mean? Like it's a moderate budget, but not like a insane budget. So it doesn't need to sell a huge amount of copies to make a profit. I don't think. Let me see. Yeah, see, the original Silent Hill 2 sold about 1 million copies in general, all over the world. Okay, so, and Silent Hill 1 sold 2 million copies across all of its re-releases. So, and that was the two best-selling Silent Hill games. So, if it sold 2 million already, it's already well on its way to becoming the best-selling Silent Hill ever, and has already sold more than Silent Hill 1 did in all these years in a few days. So, by that metric, it's been a success. That gives me hope. Because I really want Silent Hill to become a active franchise again. You know what I mean? And all that rests on this game doing well.
Hello? Anyone in here?
Like I tried to tell you earlier, Max, it's a very simple reason why they if they remake in Silent Hill 3 instead of 1, it's because Silent Hill 3 literally uses the same district of the town that this game does, with many of the same locations, so, and similar gameplay, and even some of the same weapons. So, a good chunk of the work on Silent Hill 3 Remake has already been done. Like, they literally use the exact same town district with minimal changes from this game and Silent Hill 3. So, if they did a Silent Hill 3 remake, they wouldn't have to make any new town shit. Unless they wanted. They could literally reuse the town as is. They could reuse a lot of the weapons, because they're shared between the games. And stuff like that. Yeah, that is true. I mean, you are right there. Silent Hill 3 is literally a direct sequel to 1. But I was just explaining, like with doing a Silent Hill 3 remake, they actually have a lot of the assets done. A lot of the weapons, the town district. I mean, obviously it would still be a huge work because there's a lot of areas in Silent Hill 3 that are brand new. The shopping mall, all that stuff. So they would still have to make a bunch of new stuff, new character models, and new acting. But I'm just saying, Silent Hill 3 remake would require a lot less work than Silent Hill 1 remake. Admittedly, I am biased. I've already told you repeatedly. Silent Hill 3 is my favorite by far, so of course I hope that's the one that gets made next. But either way, I wouldn't complain. If they do 1, I'll be happy. You know what I mean? I still love Silent Hill 1. I'm just saying 3 is my all-time favorite. I think it has by far the best story. And it's a story that really speaks to me, personally. Silent Hill 3 also has a lot more weapons and stuff to play around with. Because Silent Hill 2 doesn't have that many weapons. There's 3 guns, 2 melee weapons, and that's pretty much it. The guns are good, they handle good, but there wasn't that many in the original game. And I guess they didn't want to change the balance too much. So they just stuck with improving the guns that were there and making them feel good. But Silent Hill 3 has like a katana, a lightsaber you can unlock in bonus play. I shit you not, a fucking lightsaber. A submachine gun, a rifle. Like they really worked, you know, Silent Hill 3. With Silent Hill 1 to 2, they were switching console generations because it was PS1 and PS2. With Silent Hill 3, it was still a huge improvement, but they were able to build on the foundation of 2 because it was the same console generation. So 3 has a lot more content. And actually, what they've done here could really work wonders in Silent Hill 3, even more than Silent Hill 2, because in Silent Hill 2, the original, you would decently explore the town, but they greatly expanded that in the remake. Like I told you, the town is twice the size, but it's dense. It's twice as dense, so there's so much more to see in the town. It's not stretched out. There's just more stuff in it. Like the flower shop you see here, couldn't go in there in the original game. You can't now, and they made a whole shit thing for it. And there's many examples like that of buildings that were in the original, but you couldn't enter them. So they expanded the town exploration because for a lot of people that was their favorite part of 2. But in Silent Hill 3, the town exploration is very minimal. You don't even go to Silent Hill technically until about 75% of the way through the game. It starts with Heather in a shopping mall. She gets cornered by the Order, who are trying to track her down because they found her. She's been hiding out under a new name, growing up in secret. And the first like two acts of the game are getting back to your home. So you go through like a shopping mall, a construction site, an underpass, all these fucked up places. And then you get home and the plot sees you going back to Silent Hill. And so you only go to Silent Hill 3. You only go to Silent Hill in 3 near the end. And then there's not that much in the town. It's the same district of the town from 2, but you're not there for very long. And then you go back to more linear locations. So I love 3, and I think it has the best scares in the series. I think it has the best story. It has better gameplay. But the town exploration in 3 was admittedly super lacking. And it made up for it in other areas. But I really think that approach that they've taken to this could greatly help the Silent Hill 3 remake. Because this game is like double the size of the original. Because there's so much like added segments and new stuff to explore. So, you know, they could keep the structure of the game the same until you get to Silent Hill, and then greatly expound upon the town exploration part of the game, because for most fans of the series, and for most people who like Silent Hill 3, that's one they say is like the biggest letdown in 3, is that the town exploration is so minimal. It's not that it takes you a while to get there, because, you know, that's fine. It's just when you get there, there's not much to do or see, and compared to other games, it's barely non-existent. So if they greatly expanded the town exploration and added a bunch of optional stuff and new buildings to see and stuff, like this game did, then they would pretty much fix the major shortcoming of Silent Hill 3. And we've already seen it works for this game, so it would be doubly as effective for a game that had even less town exploration and would address fan complaints. And also, I hope they add more endings, because Silent Hill 3 doesn't really have many endings. Okay, so Silent Hill 1 has basically a good ending plus, a bad ending plus. So you basically have worst, bad, good, great. So it's basically two endings with variations. Because there's like an optional side quest you can do that helps you determine the fate of certain characters and what final boss you fight. And then Silent Hill 2, they went crazy. It has 6 endings, 3 of which you can get in the first playthrough, and then you had to do another one for the other 3. And then the remake added 2 more endings, so it's 8. So there's like a shit ton of endings. Yeah, Dead Space Remake is fucking great. I hope you tell me how you feel. I think you'll like it a lot, Max. It's a fantastic game. I really think you'll love it. I was surprised, actually. You know I hate EA, but I have to give them props. They exceeded my expectations. They went above and beyond. Like, if this had just been yeah, it does. I think your chat may be catching up because I just said that. It has about 4 endings. Bad, good, great. Depending on the choices you make. With the best ending being confirmed canon. Because Silent Hill 3 begins from the best ending. So it's confirmed that's the canon ending. And then Silent Hill 2 has 8 endings, but they've refused to say which is canon. Ever. They wanted it to be open to interpretation, and none of the subsequent games, none of the developers, none of the producers have ever said which ending is canon. They said it's up to you. So, but anyway, Silent Hill 3 only has 2 endings. And not only does it only have 2 endings, it only has 1 ending on the first playthrough. You have to do a New Game Plus ending to get the second ending. So, compared to like all the other games in the series, even 4, the one after that had a bunch of endings, Silent Hill 3 didn't have that many endings, so it could greatly do with some new endings. And they've already added endings to this, so the option's open, because that was a shortcoming in 3. So, if they just expand the town section of the game considerably and add more endings, they will basically fix all problems with Silent Hill 3, and it'll be a perfect game. So, when I say that, I want you to understand that 3 is still fucking great. In fact, it's my favorite, by far. But I did wish they had more town exploration in 3. And they've already expanded the town in this game, so they've proven it works. But yeah. And I really think you'll like the Dead Space remake, Max. And I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it. And I can't wait for you to play it and tell me what you think. They really went above and beyond with this remake. I hate EA, but even I have to give them props. The town exploration is one of the best parts. It's not open world, Max. Trust me. The town exploration in these games are great. Especially in 2. Either way, the Dead Space remake really exceeded my expectations. I thought, and many people thought, that they were just going to update the graphics and upgrade the gameplay some. They radically exceeded my expectations. I mean, yes, of course, they did upgrade the graphics tremendously. We're jumping 2 console generations. But they did so much more than that. They completely overhauled all the weapons. So the weapon handling feels 1,000% better. They added new secondary fires to all the weapons, because Dead Space 2 and 3 had that, but 1 didn't. They added weapons from the later games into the first game, so there's more weapons. They completely changed the plot in a good way to be much better. In the original game, Isaac is silent, and in 2 and 3 he speaks. So they completely went back and rewrote the entire script for the original game for Isaac to talk, and they got his actor from Dead Space 2 and 3 to reprise his role, so now it's the same actor across all 3. And every single conversation in the game had to be rewritten to accommodate for Isaac talking now. I do not prefer silent. And it doesn't really work in the context of Dead Space. You can have a silent protagonist, but the whole quest of Dead Space is a personal quest to Isaac. He's not some nondescript character that you're self-inserting into. It's his fucking wife that you're looking for, basically. It's his trauma that he's reliving. It's his failures. So him being silent just doesn't work, in my opinion. It's not like Doom Guy, where it doesn't matter what he thinks, what he feels. Dead Space tried to emulate Silent Hill and be a psychological game getting into Isaac's head. But if he doesn't talk, what's the point? And there are points where Isaac not talking negatively impacts the story. I'm not going to spoil anything because you're saying you want to play it, but there are parts when he's almost being fucking douchey by not saying anything. And it's like, come on, man, fucking say something. So, I vastly prefer him talking. And it brings it in line with the rest of the trilogy. So, but they had to rewrite the whole story to accommodate for him talking. Oh, my cat's got a hairball I'm going to have to clean up. And then they added a bunch of new side quests to the game. The original game didn't have any side quests. There's a bunch of them now, and the side quests are really good. They give you huge rewards, new sets of armor, and they give you huge plot revelations that will change the way you see the story of Dead Space 1. And like I said, you're going to play it, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will tell you, pro tip, do all of the side quests. All of them. They are all worth doing, and once you do all of them, there's a massive payout for them. And it's an earth-shattering fucking revelation. Okay? Make sure you do the side quests. It's not open world. It's Metroidvania. Okay? In Dead Space 1, the original, the game was linear. It was 100% linear. You went through an area, you left, you never came back. In the remake, you can backtrack to previous areas to do side quests and unlock new doors. They've added, the whole spaceship is now one continuous map that connects to each other instead of separate levels, and you can go back later in the game to get extra collectibles and open new doors. You have like a security pass, and there'll be locked doors that you can get to, and then do side quests and shit like that. So it's not open world, but the first game was more like missions, and the remake is more like Resident Evil, where you backtrack and loop back to earlier areas to get new stuff. And I think that's an improvement as well. And they always reward you because you're seeing a new area, you're getting new weapons. It's a game where the side stuff is well worth your time, if that makes sense. And not just in gameplay-wise. They give you new weapons, new upgrades, new suits of armor. So, like, they reward you for doing the side shit. Yeah, I can do that. I haven't played it in a while. I played it when it launched, and I beat it. They also added a new ending you can get that ties further into Dead Space 2, that you can get a New Game Plus. You have to beat it on New Game Plus to get it. Because I think they were intending to remake Dead Space 2. It's great. They redid the zero-G segments because, as you might be aware, in Dead Space 1 and all the Dead Space games, you have zero-G segments. But in the first game, you would be stuck to the ceiling or wherever you're walking. Then you would aim, and you would jump to that part and then stick to that wall. So it was like a fixed thing. You would jump from point to point. In Dead Space 2 and 3, you would have jet boots, and you could freely fly around in zero-G. And it was much better. They redesigned... Echo, I love you, but my legs are hurting me. You can hop up here later when they're not hurting me. They redesigned the zero-G segments to be free-flying. So now instead of just jumping from point to point, you can freely fly in the air, and it just feels so much better. It's like jetpack flight. There were some plot holes in the original game. which obviously I can't go into details because then it would spoil it for you. But there were plot holes in the original game that didn't make sense. They've corrected those plot holes, and like I said, they were stuff that fans pointed out, like continuity errors that didn't make sense that they fixed. So that's great that they paid attention to detail. They added new monsters that weren't in the original game, and new monsters in New Game Plus. So like New Game Plus actually has different enemies in different places. And switches it up, whereas before it was just the exact same shit. They added a brand new suit of armor that wasn't in the original game. That's really fucking cool. It's like a soldier set of armor that's all white and platy, makes you look like a badass fucking Marine. That you can get in New Game Plus. They overhauled the upgrade system. Yeah, I would recommend that you play the original game, Max, so you can see all the changes. Because they made so many changes that you can't really appreciate if you don't play the remake first. So it'd probably be good if you tried the original just to see, you know what I mean? It's up to you, whatever you have time to do. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't really appreciate... I hate EA. You know I hate EA. But in this instance, they really, really, really went above and beyond. And it was a fucking great game. And it exceeded my expectations. It fixed almost every flaw from the original game. All the stuff they added was fucking great. All the weapons they added were great. All the story changes were cool. They fleshed out Isaac's backstory. You actually learn about his backstory that we've never heard about in any games where he grew up and shit. I'm not going to spoil it. But that's something that, like, even when he's talking, we never got his backstory. So it's super cool as a fan of the series to get that backstory and figure out his, like, early years and shit. They added lore. They fixed plot holes. Like, they did a fucking bang-up job. The Dead Space remake is fantastic. It was like one of the few instances that EA just knocked it out of the park. There's no microtransactions, no early pass, none of that bullshit. Like, it's fantastic. If EA made more games like that, their reputation would not be what it is.
What is this?
Yeah, exactly. They truly... The people they had developing it, I think they're called EA Motive. EA Motive? Yeah, I think that's the studio. Truly knew what the fuck they were doing. And cared about Dead Space.
Stuff.
And they worked with the original team. And got their approval. So they genuinely gave a shit. And it showed. I just thought it was so fucking great. I was impressed. Because I like Dead Space enough that if I had just been a remake, a graphical remake, I still would have played it because I like the original game. But they exceeded my expectations. I was super impressed. It wound up being a lot better than I was thinking. And it definitely would be good if you could play the original game so you can see the changes. Because, I mean, I'm sure you'll have a good time with the remake, but you can't fully appreciate how much they overhauled it from the original without playing the original for reference, you know what I'm saying? That's why I tried to convince Steph to play Silent Hill 2. The original Silent Hill 2, so you can understand the fucking... all the ways this remake excels. And I always try to insist that if somebody... I always try to tell people you should play the original before you play the remake. You know what I mean? Yeah, there you go, man. Whatever works for you, dude. Obviously, it's up to you.
Hey, wait.
I might end up streaming it. Because it has been It's been over a year since I played it last. It's been a while, and it is spooky season, you know what I mean? Probably start it up after I finish Alone in the Dark, and I'm done with it, move on, you know what I mean? Keep the spooky train going. I mean, I play a lot of hard games anyway, but, you know, it's October, so... 'Tis the season for spooky games. The only thing I dislike about the Dead Space remake, and it really is only a concern if you're trying to go for Platinum, is in order to get the Platinum trophy, the only thing I didn't do... Yeah, I mean, it's the same town. Different district. The only thing...
Hello?
The only thing I don't like about the Dead Space remake, and it's really only a concern if you're going for the Platinum, you have to beat the game's impossible mode, the hardest difficulty, and that's permadeath. That really upsets me. Because it's already hard as fuck, and then you have to restart the entire game if you die. And I don't think they should have made that mandatory to get the Platinum. Playing the hardest difficulty, if it wasn't permadeath, fine. But I really don't like that. Yeah. I gotta keep it real with you, Max. I hate permadeath. In any game. I hate permadeath. Especially a fucking longer game. Dead Space Remake's pretty fucking long. And it's also why I'll never get the Platinum for Witcher 3. Because despite having spent hundreds of hours in that game, you have to play it on the hardest difficulty, Death March. It's permadeath. There's no fucking way I'm gonna play a 60 to 200 hour game with permadeath. Fuck that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so even though I've spent hundreds of hours in The Witcher 3, hundreds, I don't have the Platinum, and now you know why. And, dude, Death March is super hard. Ah, shit. I fucked up. Let me reload my save. Trying to, like, on Death March, man, a single grunt enemy can kill you. Just like, I mean, like a base ghoul that you run into in the tutorial can one-shot you. So, it's not even like, oh, it's doable. Like, one mistake. Just one. And your save is fucking trashed. I'm just not gonna do it. Alright, man.
Is this what I saw in the wall? Whatever it is, it's not human.
Yeah.
Where are you, Mary?
I think I figured out the perfect control scheme for this game. Like, I was working on customizing it. I think I found the perfect one. Because it starts out with up, opening your map, up on the D-pad. I fucking hate that, so I moved it to the touchpad. That feels right for me for opening the map, and up for the inventory. And then dodge was circle. I switched it to L1. That because like R2 is your melee attack. So then I don't have to take my finger off the melee attack button to dodge. And instead circles your quick turn. No, I don't. I like. I just meant like if okay, I'm sorry. Let me explain. When I press circle, I have to take my hand off the stick, the look stick. Okay, by keeping dodge on L1, I can keep my hand on the camera stick while I'm melee fighting. For quick looking around. Also, a lot of the cars have items in them, so you should break the windows and check them out.
Is that?
Hold on a second. Ah, so you can see that. I didn't know if you could in the stream. With PlayStation, it's hard to tell sometimes. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you can't see it when I bring up the overlay. You know what I mean? To record. So I didn't know, honestly. I might also play Siren if I get the new version. I don't know if they'll give me the new version or not, because this is the first time they've re-released a game they've already released, because they back in 2016, I believe, they re-released Siren for PS4, but it had some issues. It wasn't unplayable, but it had some issues, so they eventually wound up taking it down from the store, and now they're replacing it with a new version, and they've never done that before, replacing an already existing game on the store, so I don't know if they'll give me the upgrade for that, because it's a new kind of thing, you know what I mean? There's no precedent. I really hope they do. Hey, how's it going? It's my mom! Alright, mother, I restarted my timer so you can see me press the button. 1, 2, 3, go. Boom. Oh, what? What do you mean issues with Dino Crisis? I have nothing major. That would break my heart, man. Dino Crisis needs to fucking win, dude. Well, I hope that's fixed by the time it comes to America. Also, pro tip, just so you know, the game has like a thing where it'll show you your health is low. Oh well, hopefully they'll fix it. The game has like a thing where it'll show you your health is low. Where is it? Is it in, okay, it's on gameplay. Turn that off. You can literally, it makes the screen red, it's distracting, and not only can you see without that, by looking at his body, the bloodier it gets, the lower his health is, the controller will tell you. The light will change color to show you your health. So you don't need a whole fucking red overlay. For me, I find it distracting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You already have his body showing you blood. By the time he gets close to death, he'll be limping, like heavily limping. He'll be covered in blood, and your control will be red. You don't need an overlay on top of all that. That like conveys to you, oh, I'm about to die. The controller is bright red. I'm sitting there, you know what I mean? I think the VIN is excessive. Also, pro tip, learn how to dodge, especially on hard. You will take a lot of fucking damage on hard. You need to learn how to consistently dodge. Yeah, I'm glad you like it, man. It's actually one of my mother's favorite movies of all time, ever. I watched it when I was a very small kid. Like, it was literally like one of my mom's all-time favorite movies, ever. Can you dig it? Right? Warriors, come out to play! Oh, fun fact, that's not in the novel. That was improvised. In the novel, they just say that he riles them up and tries to get them to come outside. They told the actor, just do something annoying to get them to come outside. You're sitting there trying to taunt them. They did not give him a script. He came up with that in a bottle shit on the fly. Totally improvised. And it became fucking iconic. And now that you see Warriors, you can see how influential it was and how many movies it inspired. Like, so many movies have taken inspiration. Games have taken inspiration from the Warriors. So even if you haven't seen the Warriors, you've most likely seen a movie inspired by it. You know what I mean? It's one of those movies where it's influential. Even, you know what I mean? Yeah, you get what I'm saying. I'm just making sure I get all the collectibles and I don't miss anything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does suck they killed Cleon. He gets a lot more coverage in the game. Yeah, I should have healed. Oh well. Ah, fuck. Oh, hey, I want to show you something hilarious. Hold on. This opening cutscene with the rabbit head is so hilarious. I fucking burst out laughing when I saw this, dude. What? Hold on. No. Oh, fuck, I fucked up. Hold on, let me restart. Bullshit. Okay. In particular, it's the mirror shot that gets me after this. Justina sitting there and look up into the fucking mirror with the rabbit head. Oh, that's fucking great, man. I am the rabbit. I'll be right back, dude. I'm gonna quit for a short second. I'll be right back.